Theodore Roosevelt once said, "The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, and spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best, if he wins, knows the thrills of high achievement, and if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat."
All right, welcome back. Day Before Rehab podcast. I got my buddy Rich Tafe on here. He's my partner in Be the Miracle. Got my friend we've known each other for over 25 years. 25 years. Jay Pross, owner, Art History 101. Great dude in the neighborhood. I was thinking, you know how we met? You know how it happened?
I know that it was through Barrelhead.
But
now refresh my memory. If you remember like the first time that we ever met.
So Barrelhead and I hit it off freshman year. We were fucking best friends. Now, I know I fucked it up, but we were best friends. And he took my Timberlands. I took his Air Force Ones that we traded, and he dicked my motherfucking shoes up way worse than I dicked his up. And then he ended up inviting me up to Allen. And I'll never forget, we drank 40s, and he called them cubby holes.
Yep.
What the fuck's a cubby hole?
Cubbies.
You know, we call them cubby holes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Remember the alleyways where you drink? And I think like within like a couple weeks, you slept over with Barrelhead. I remember we did like that Blockbuster run. Me, you, and Barrelhead.
Refresh my memory on.
So we're in Blockbuster, and it was just like we were such ball breakers. We're such dicks, dude. Like all three of us. So, like we're busting balls out in Blockbuster. We get movies. We go to my house. You slept over. This is my parents are still together. My mom starts busting my balls because she found my porno tape, VHS tape, under the couch.
I remember this now.
Under the
I
couch.
remember this, yeah.
Right? She tried to like make fun of me in front of Barrelhead and Pross, and my dad's like, "So what? I watched it."
I remember.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It was so embarrassing. Well, my dad like came to the rescue, like, "Yeah, I fucking watched it, dude." Like, I'm like, so, which was weird because like I had that porno from like 7th grade to senior year before we had like social media and internet and shit, dude. And I'm like,
let me ask you, like, so this is the memory I have from back when we first met. And it's one of my first memories of meeting you and Screwy Louie and like that group of people, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that we started at your house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Went up with Screwy Louie and all. But we knew you guys from going to Judge knew the Mayfair kids were throwing a keg in Pennypack.
Oh yeah.
And we had two dudes, Stefan and Juice, dress up as cops.
Yep.
And have
So like a 350-pound black dude, and he was all in on this fucking thing we were gonna do.
So we had like 2 fake walkie-talkies and like 2 flashlights.
Yeah.
And they ran in like they were cops.
Yes.
And the Mayfair dudes like took off running. And we sat down and drank their...
Yeah, literally. We didn't even move the fucking thing.
We just literally just sat down and that was my first memory of you guys. And it was just, it's crazy to think 25 years later.
25.
Like, it's still like vivid in my head that night.
Mm-hmm.
And we just became super close after that.
You know what's funny? Like freshman year, we were all tight with the Mayfair dudes. Like we hung out with them. We went up to the like St. Matt's playground and I hung out with them. I'll never forget. Now at this point, I already knew you and Barrelhead and like probably Tamer and Gonzo. So the AY dudes, the old heads, they run up on the Mayfair dudes. Luckily, we were freshmen. They didn't give us a hard time. But the one dude, it might have been Arky, standing kicked Joe Boyce right in the fucking face. And there might have been 4 Allen dudes and 400 Mayfair dudes. And I'm like, they didn't do a thing. I'm like, oh, dude, this is wild, bro. This is wild, dude. Remember I got no fight with Stater? Were you there for that?
No.
So I go up to Allen Yard with Barrelhead, me and Trace, and we were on Xannies. I was selling Xannies at the time. And I go up there, and I think Stater was like a dick back in the day a little bit, right? I mean, we did a couple side jobs together.
Hey, rest in peace to Stater.
But yeah, so years later in life, we were cool, but him and I got into a fucking fight in the middle of the playground in Allen. And Gonzo told me when he parks his car, he's going to come up here and sneak you. You better hit him first. Now, at this point, I don't know, like, how many Allen dudes are there, who's there, what old heads are there. I just know, like, I don't know if you were there, but Barrelhead, Tamer, Gonzo, Bleach, and like, that's it. So Stater comes walking up, and I fucking hit him as hard as I could in the middle of the park. And we get no fight, we're rolling around, and like, thank God nobody jumped in, dude, because I was a total fucking outsider, dude. Like, when Gonzo tells the story, he tells that like I whooped his ass. There might have been 2 hits the whole time. That's it. We wrestled on the ground, and like, it's just so funny, dude. That's like literally like sophomore year, 1999. It's crazy.
Yeah.
How'd you guys link up?
I met him years ago at your house.
Oh, my house? Yeah. So how that happened was my dad got sober, I think in between junior and senior year, and he would go to the meetings Friday night. This motherfucker would leave at 5:30. Yeah. At 5:31, we'd roll the kegs in. So all my friends that I grew up with were upstairs. All the Allen Yard dudes were in the basement smoking weed. And, I found out years later, because, I didn't want all the AY dudes to come because they were fucking nuts, dude.
Yeah, that was always the thing. It was like, you could invite Jay, but don't invite the rest of the Allen. And that was, the thing is, that was like everywhere we went. It's like, none of my friends could come. I was always like the one that could.
Yeah.
Because I could control myself. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, I was used to that at that point.
I found out years later that it was fucking Tamer always telling everybody about the party. Motherfucker. And he was like my boy, dude. We're like brother. I know I think he lives in Colorado now, but years later I found out that he's like, yeah, dude, I was always telling him. So one time, like, again, I got to like preface it because like you don't realize how bad of a dude some people are until later in life. Like I didn't realize Arky was like such a bad dude. Arky pulls up with that girl he used to date, redhead girl.
Amy?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're outside of my house and I'm like, can't come in. I can't let you in. And like, knowing what I know about him now, like, I'm surprised he didn't fucking drop me on Moon's fucking porch.
Right.
And he left. And I was like, you walk back into the house, you're like, I know I just dodged a bullet there, boy.
You know what's crazy is that, like, just growing up with these guys is that they've known me since I was a baby, like kindergarten.
Mm.
So they always treated me like I was family.
Yeah, you're what?
So it was like crazy because they could be a terrorizer to like everybody else, but to me it'd be like, oh, I love Jay, that's my guy. Like I'll do anything for him,
Yeah. Dude, I loved going up there, dude. Like I got friendly with, Barrelhead was my closest friend, then Gonzo and you, and but like I'd never had a bad time going up to the yard, even with like Harry and his crazy ass self. Both Burgers, me and Mike and Burger are friends to this day from just knowing him back then and then through the Carpenters Union. Like I never had a bad time up there. Never had a bad time. But like I said before we started, the goal of the podcast, the reason why I started it, so I got out of rehab day after Thanksgiving last year. And in order to move home, my wife's like, either you're going to IOP or you're getting a therapist. Now, I didn't know much about IOP at the time, but I heard it was kind of like kind of just bullshit. Maybe not great for recovery, but just something that they made you do. But they didn't make me do that. They gave me the option. So I get a therapist. I start talking to him, and I'm looking for a way to like track my journey in life. And he's like, write a book. You should write a book. And I'm like, I can't fucking write a book. I'm an idiot. Mm-hmm. And I come home, I tell my wife about it, and she's like, start a podcast. And I'm like, what, day before rehab podcast? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, that's a good name. And the whole goal of it was just to talk about the pain and the suffering that I went through before rehab and to get as far away from that day as possible. Mm-hmm. So I've had people on, whether it's rehab, whether it's mental illness, whether it's cancer, a traumatic experience in their life that they had to get through, and what does it look like getting on the other side and how they do it. Mm-hmm. So we talked before the podcast, obviously art history, starting that business and seeing how successful it has become is your professional life, but something else happened to you when you were a kid that really kind of set the stage for how your childhood was going to go. Yep. You want to get into that a little bit?
So my mom was a single mom of 4 kids. We're all 2 years apart. And my little sister, Nikki, was diagnosed with cancer at 8 years old. So I was 10, my brother was 12, my sister was 14. So I'm sorry, she was diagnosed with cancer at 4 years old. And when she was 8, she passed away. So I was 10 when she passed away. My brother was 12, my sister was 14. So just as a young kid, like looking back at it, the only life I knew was my little sister having cancer, always in the hospital. My dad was never in my life. So it was always like my mom when she could, when she wasn't like trying to like work or be at the hospital with my sister, and then my grandma.
And I remember your mom. Your mom could look like she could have been your fucking sister, dude. She does. I remember her.
I used to go into the store and just like sit there and talk to her.
Yeah.
You lived on Fanshawe too, right?
Yeah. So like me, Barrelhead, and Coyle, we all lived on Fanshawe, just different hundreds.
Mm-hmm.
So when Nikki passed away, it was more or less my mom that had to deal with all the mental stress of that, right? And it's crazy. Like this happened 30 years ago, right? So I still remember the day my sister passed away. I was the only one not there because my mom thought I was too young to experience it because she was living off of a machine in the hospital, right? So they knew that they were going to pull the plug. So that day they sent me with a friend and his dad to an Eagles game. We played the Chicago Bears, 1993 in October. 10 years old. Yep. I remember everything. Like the game started off, it looked like we were doing all right. We started getting our ass kicked. It was like we lost. My friend's dad pulled up in front of my house. It was pitch black, dark outside, like it was like midnight, but it was probably around like, 6:30. Yeah, right. So when I walked in, there was all these people there, friends and family and all this other stuff. So I walked in, you could literally hear a pin drop because I was like, what is it, someone's birthday? And then I could just remember someone saying like, oh, he doesn't know. And my mom was like, here, come upstairs, Jay, I got to talk to you. She brought me in my room, sat on my bed, broke the news to me. And we just cried and hugged and all this other stuff. And, I don't even remember going back downstairs. I was a little embarrassed. I was crushed.
Yeah.
And then for her funeral, a bunch of kids from, they literally sent the school, St. Tim's. Since me and my brother and sister, we had all these ties in the school, they, literally let, all the classes come to my sister's funeral with her, right? And after the cemetery, the lunch and everything, I told my mom, I was like, I want to go back to school. I just want to be around my friends.
Mm-hmm.
So she let me. I remember 10 years old. I walked back to St. Tim's and all the doors were locked. They ended up sending everybody home after the funeral because it was just so devastating, right?
Yeah.
And I still just remember it all. So,
and your sister that passed do you all have the same dad?
Yeah, we all got the same mom.
And he wasn't even around. He just
wasn't there.
Nothing.
Huh. And funny now that I'm a dad, I've been told that's the reason why I care so much and that I will never leave my kids and always be in their life. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I would never do that.
Well, it's funny.
I just went through it, so I know.
Some people follow the same path. Some people go the exact opposite way.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I get that.
So after that, my mom was mentally drained.
Sure.
So as a young kid, I just pretty much went off and did my own thing. So, by the time I was in 8th grade, which was 2 years later, I was 12 years old. I OD'd. Really? Yeah. Off Xannies and Cisco. in 8th grade, I almost died. So we started I remember a pocket full of Xannies. I was just taking them, boom, I didn't know. And
where you get the Xannies from back then?
I can't tell you that. Right? So
we all probably got them from the same spot.
Wasn't it? Yeah. But anyway, I don't remember any of it. I just remember waking up the next day on my mom's couch.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went to go wake up and pee, I could barely pee because when I OD'd, they put a catheter in me.
Really? So you didn't even know at that time when you woke up, I've got a catheter in me?
Nah. And then what I was told was that I blacked out. I was foaming out my mouth. They took me to a 7-Eleven right on Franklin and Levick.
Yep.
And thank God that some nurse that just got off of work, seen what was going on, came over and was like, this dude's going to die if we don't call 911. So they literally had to cut my clothes off. This is in 8th grade. I was 12 years old. So now that I look back at it and my nieces and nephews are that age, I'm like, dude, I can't even imagine these people even smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, it's funny, we're all in our 40s and the perspective that we have. My daughter, her age now, she was 1 when I was her age. You know what I mean? And I can't imagine my daughter fucking having a kid, dude. It's crazy when you think about, I just feel like we were built different back then.
Oh, definitely.
I'm not saying getting OD in 8th grade is something that was the norm, but I just think we were built different. Mm-hmm. Just growing up in the neighborhood, you know what I mean?
But it was even at the school found out about it, everybody found out about it. Parents were like, you can't hang out with this kid.
Yeah.
The school kind of let me go just because of that sympathy because of my situation. And then the following year, my freshman year in Roman, I was arrested for graffiti. So I think that back then, if you were on the outside looking in, you're like, this kid is probably not going to make it to 18, you know? But when I got arrested for graffiti, one of the biggest changes for me was they sent me to youth study center. My mom showed up for court, and my mom was like, I don't care. I'm taking my kid home. He's a good kid. He's just using all of his energy towards negativity. He just needs to find something that he likes, that he's passionate about, blah, blah, whatever, right? And the judge even told me, if you remember back in the day in Philadelphia, juvenile court, Judge Reynolds was like the one. Yeah.
Yeah, you think like if you wear a striped shirt, that's how many years you
Yeah. And he was, and that was like, you don't want to get Judge Reynolds.
I remember that.
This is why I don't gamble, because I got Judge Reynolds. Dude, like,
That's crazy. I remember that, dude.
so he ends up telling me that like he's gonna give. I got 300 hours community service as a 13-year-old kid. We had a fine, and I was on probation. I couldn't get off probation until I finished community service. But at 13, between playing sports and school, I can only do like 5 hours a week. If that, like 300 hours, I will be on until I'm like every Saturday for 10 years. So my thing was that they made me do community service at the 15th and 2nd district.
Okay.
So all the cops knew me from like constantly going in there, sweeping up, and mind you, I seen everyone from the neighborhood get locked up. Like, it was crazy. Everybody like, you work here? I'm like, nah, just doing community service thing. But at the time, I could never run from the cops.
Yeah.
Because they knew me.
AY dudes were the first group of kids that I ever met that knew all the names of the bike cops.
Yeah.
They knew everybody. And I'm like, how do you know their names? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess we were the first stop. Like right there.
You're half a mile away.
Yeah. So
Zimmerman was probably south there, and then come down our neighborhood.
Yep. So like the thing is, I was very conscious because I knew that if I got caught doing anything, I was going to jail. So this is me at 13 years old, 14 years old, 15 years old. And my mom ended up buying me just like books to draw in rather than like graffiti outside. And I guess that was like one of the things, that was a turning point for me. Because obviously, you guys know I looked like I was 8 years old when I was 13.
Yeah.
Right? I
remember young, yeah.
Yeah, when I went to the sweat box, they're like, make sure you get his kid extra cheese sandwiches. He's gonna need it, right? So I just never wanted to go to jail. So like that was something that like kind of pivoted me. So when I was 16, I got a job working at Foot Action.
Mm-hmm.
And I was always into like the smoking weed, drinking thing, but I never really got into anything. After I OD'd at 12 years old, I never really done tannies again. And like even now at 40 years old, there's so many people like, I really never remember Jay being intoxicated. Like I've never seen Jay like out in public, like drunk or like anything like that. I was very conscious of things.
Well, yeah, it's crazy because like I've never OD'd, but there's been times where you do so much of one thing, it causes an issue. And then like, as soon as I clean the fuck up, I'm like, yeah, let's do that again. You just went the opposite way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Yeah. So, the way I started art history was when C. White passed away. I made one rest in peace shirt. I wore it out. All my friends from up Ethan Allen were like, yo, where'd you get the shirt from? And when I told them I made it, they were like, yo, make us all shirts for the funeral. So I went to the corner store. I bought 10 black shirts, 10 white shirts, $5 a piece, right? So I stayed up all night, like painting shirts. I wrapped them in cardboard, painting them. I had a blow dryer. I remember the next morning for the funeral, people were stopping at my house to like pick up their shirts. Some shirts were even still like a little wet. But I sold all the shirts for $10. Well, I'm like, all right, 20 shirts, $10, $200 in business. And there was other people like, I want one. Can you still make one? So I thought to myself, I'm on to something here. And people just kept on asking me, like, I want to see white shirt. Then it turned into like, oh, my dad passed away. Can you make that? Or like, can you make me an Eagles drawing? Like it just turned into something.
This started.
Yeah. So at the time I was working at a sneaker store and like doing that. And, I told my mom, I was like, I think I'm on to something here. I want to go to fashion design school and like pursue this as a career. So I went to the Art Institute for fashion design, maybe like 6 to 9 months after C. White passed away. And within my second semester, I got a job working for Mesquite. And at the time, they were like a nationwide brand. And we were doing a lot of shirts for celebrities and athletes. So within like my first year working there, I did the shirt for the rapper The Game. He had the song Dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Leah had a dream. Left I
know The Game.
Kanye did the beat. It was like a big thing.
So are you like starting the network at this point? Like, are you getting to meet different people.
Yeah,
Connect along the way.
I didn't know when I first started making shirts, there wasn't really social media like that. There wasn't I don't even remember MySpace back then.
Because you're talking about what, like 03, 02?
Yeah. So I remember, because C-White died in like July of 03. Yep. So I'm like, yo, I'm the only one that does this. And like when you start a business, there has to be a need for it, right? And you have to
find them in.
Exactly. So like I thought to myself, I'll be the only one that does this. I'll have a monopoly, you know? And when I started working at Mesquite, I met like 40 other people that paint shirts. And then like as I started going to trade shows and traveling around, blah, blah, I started meeting more and more people. Now here we are 20 years later. I feel like everybody makes shirts.
Right.
But here's the crazy thing. Back then, like I said, I had the whole pizza to myself, like the whole pie to myself. Now, the pizza is like cut up in all these slices. Everybody makes shirts. He makes shirts, but I actually made more money and sell more shirts now than I ever did.
Really?
Yep.
Why do you think that is?
Consistency.
Yeah, you've been around forever now. So when you back it up a little, when you started going to these trade shows and shit, and I'm asking for myself, like, that had to be tough to like put yourself out there, or maybe not. Like you just dove in and put yourself out there.
Yeah, I don't. The thing is, dude, I was the little kid with big ears. Like, dude, everywhere I went, like, look how big his ears are. Like, I always look so young, or blah blah. So I feel like that I got beat up with like that stuff. Like,
so you already had some armor that you couldn't really be fazed by it.
Yeah, my mom would always say to me, like, what happened when my little sister died and all. My mom goes like this: we've already went through hell. There, like, you've already made it through hell, dude.
Yeah.
Like, no matter how bad it gets, you're going to be all right.
My therapist calls that money in the bank.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You get through something terrible, something tragic, and, you know, you can't be hurt any more than that.
I use that on a daily basis. You know what I mean?
Yeah, with
I got a truck. Yeah. Get in the truck. You know what I mean? I got nothing to lose. I've been through a lot of shit.
And you know what?
Been through a lot of shit. You've been like,
Yeah.
it's just, you know what I mean?
So on another tip too is that like at 12 years old, I OD'd, right? I'm like, all right, I'm never doing tannies again, right? It's crazy to see people like my age going through it now.
Yeah.
I would do that when I was 12.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, I'm kind of grateful for, and that's what I am grateful. Every day I wake up, I'm just happy to be alive.
It's crazy when you think about it. Like, you know, you've been through some shit with your sister, with the OD, and listen, growing up in the neighborhood that we grew up in, like I was from Tacony, you were in Vogue, you were AY. You know, you had to kind of, it was like sink or swim. Either you were in or you were out. You know what I mean? There was fights every weekend. You know what I mean? I'm not saying like it's as crazy as it is now. Like we got to worry about getting shot. It was, well, maybe up by Allen you did. But like it was a tough area to grow up.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing is, out of all the parks, it was like we had the worst reputation. Like,
yeah, you guys did. Yeah. Why do you think that is?
We lived up to it.
Yeah. Numbers.
Yeah.
And numbers too.
Yeah. And it's like all the names are like, I won't name drop, but like some of the tougher guys in your area, they just have like names that fit the tough guys that's here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I went out to AY one time, and we went to a party in Moss. We were walking down Tarsdale Ave, right by Moss, and some dude looked at me, and he was gonna fuck me up. He thought I resembled one of your boys, right? Another stocky dude with dark hair. He's like, "Are you him?" And I'm like, "Nah, dude." And he was right next to me, and he's like, "Nah, I'm not him either," which is like rare for him to say that. But like, we were at a band spot at that particular time. There might have been like 100 dudes, and it would be like me and like 6 other AY dudes in Barrelhead, you know?
Yeah.
Dude, so
It's crazy. At sometimes I think to myself, like, I recently went to like a business seminar, right? And there was a military guy, and he was saying how he had like PTSD from seeing like shootings and all this other stuff. Blah, blah. I'm like, what he was saying, I'm like, I don't want to disrespect anybody because I love all my military people, but it's like, I've seen some crazy violence. I've seen people getting shot. I've seen I've seen some crazy stuff. So I like wonder, like, as far as like the people that we grow up with in the neighborhood that's seen the same stuff I seen, like, do we suffer from PTSD too? I think we do. It's just never talked about.
Yeah. It's a great point because, you know, just talking about it from like a recovery standpoint and like the way I grew up, it's like the abnormal became normal.
Yep.
You know what I mean? The crazy shit I lived within my house.
That's a perfect way to word it.
Yeah, like I watched my dad detox on the couch, dude, like multiple times. You know what I mean? My sister, if it wasn't nailed down in a fucking armored truck, it was getting stolen. You know what I mean? And then just different things in the neighborhood, like, you know, Screwy Louie passing away, C. White passing away. Like
the way that Screwy Louie passed away.
That is and this, I knew him since I was 7 years old, dude. I played football with him, 65, 87, 103 pounders, dude. And he was same as you, small, thin dude. And he had zero fear.
Mhm.
He was a great dude. Him and Nicky Trouts, like all those dudes, like, I knew, same as you. We knew these guys forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you've seen some shit.
Yep.
Seen some shit. And you're just like, it's almost like you're desensitized.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what do you mean? I've been through that.
Yeah.
I've been through worse.
Well, the thing is to see someone to go to Afghanistan and be like, dude, I seen like my partner right next to me get shot. Oh yeah. Yeah, I seen that too. But I seen it up in Mayfair.
In a neighborhood.
Yeah.
Not in a war zone.
That's what I'm saying. And like, it even happened recently in front of Art History back in like 2020 or 21 at 2:00 in the afternoon. Some dude just got shot 11 times, like pretty much died on the sidewalk in front of Art History. So like,
Christ.
I was right there. My mom was in the store, blah, blah. So it was like, for the next, I was like, I guess like we should go home. Yeah. I'm like, and it's like people are calling me saying like, we just want to make sure you're all right. I'm like, yeah, that has nothing to do with me. Like, blah, blah. And it's crazy to think that like, for us, it's just like life goes on. But it did cross my mind. I'm like, dude, this kid at 23 years old woke up this morning, probably ate his cereal, took a shower, and never thought like, dude, I'm going to take my last breath today. So I think, but by the fact that I did experience it and I'm older and mature now, these are things that I wake up and I'm just like, dude, I'm still here.
Yeah, still grinding.
Yeah, like
I mean, I remember shit at least a decade ago when I heard that your shirts were on rappers fucking that were like world famous. You know what I mean? I'm like,
I remember the big thing was the Bombay was it? Yeah, and that was like because there was no social media. You caught it from word of mouth going to places like, hey, Jay, I'm like, you know what I mean? And then you see the video or you see the shirt and the drinking video. Like that's
crazy. That's my shirt.
Yo, you know what's crazy is I battle with this in my head is that when I first started working for Mesquite and I started getting shirts on rappers, they started sending me all over the country. So like once a week, sometimes twice a week, I fly all over.
Mm-hmm.
I was having such big success that they sent me to Europe 5 times. So I went to Germany, Spain, and Paris, France, and all.
Really?
Yeah, and like by myself, Mesquite just like paid for the trip, and then my job was just to get shirts on as many people, go to stores that sell Mesquite, just try to influence people, like just represent the brand, try to bring in sales, get important people to rock it, blah blah. And I just always brought results back. So like at the time, I was so lonely because I'm like, I get to experience the coolest stuff, and like, but it's just me by myself,
Yeah.
And when I started Art History, I was back in the neighborhood, and it was like I was around all my friends. And I just felt like I wasn't as successful. And like, it's crazy because people that are close to me that know my story, they're always like, that's kind of what messed up all the, like, because of the fact that I still like regret that. Like I still think that even to this day, the most successful I am is just when I'm traveling the world by myself and just like doing me.
Huh. So no connection.
It's kind of weird how they say like it's lonely at the top. I got a million friends, but I understand that saying a lot, like the perspective of that saying.
Yeah.
Like I get it. I could like travel the world all day, every day and like be super successful, but I'll be lonely.
Huh. I can relate on my level, like with my career. Nothing in my mind seems good enough. Like I just got a new job, major promotion, and I'm already thinking like, well, how long is it going to take me to get to the next spot up? My wife thinks I'm fucking crazy, but I think it's what makes me who I am.
Do you think it's a gift or a curse?
A mixture of both,
100%.
100%. I think it is my gift.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I can look you two in the eye and say it's not ego. It's inside. Like my drive to succeed is not to say that I'm more successful than. It's to see how far I can get in life, especially with recovery now. Like I've been battling this shit for over a decade. Like let's see how far we can max out now. I just got my car away for Thanksgiving. I said I can't wait to see how far we can max life out together. I just want to see how far we can take it. And for me, the only way to do it is to be sober. But it's also a curse because be on vacation in Margate down the shore on the beach, and I can't stop thinking about like, well, how long is it going to take before we buy another property, or how long before we do this? And like my wife I'm sucking the life out of her, even in sobriety. You know what I mean? Can you relate at all? Like, is it
all day, every day? Nothing is good enough. The thing is, I got shirts in Beyonce music video, and I'm just like, all right, well, who's the next Beyonce that I could get a shirt in? Like, I've done it already. What's the next thing? So, like, it just so happens, like 2 days ago, one of the biggest artists in the whole entire world, right? Like, I sent him I handed him a package 1.5 years ago, and they called me at Art History on Friday, and they were like, he just opened up the package. He loves it. They're like, how much for like 100 shirts, 200 shirts, 300 shirts, blah, blah. So I even said to him, I was like, didn't I give you that like a couple months ago? Like, it was a year and a half ago.
Really?
Yeah, but he's like one of the biggest like artists like in the world. So like I really don't want to talk about it. I don't want to ruin it because we did send him an email and all this other stuff, blah, blah. But like, once I accomplished that, I'm like, dude, like,
What's next?
yeah.
What's next?
Like, why aren't I a billionaire yet?
So
that's how I start this.
So let's back it up a little bit. Like, this sounds like it's one of the peaks in your career right now. We just explained. Take me back to the time we made the decision to actually open up a store.
So we had
That had to be tough.
actually, it really wasn't. This is how it was. Is first of all, I rarely am able to turn off my brain, right? And I'm a true visionary where I could see shirts like what they look like before I even design them, and then after they design,
You're an artist.
yeah, like
You're an artist.
just a lot of things. I'm just like, I consider myself a visionary, right? So we have a warehouse down Kensington I'm making shirts out of, and like 5 days go by. We didn't have a website, and like the only way you could get a shirt is if you know me or one of my boys, you call me up, come down Kensington, or we'll deliver them. But I knew people didn't want to come down Kensington. So we went like 5 days without selling a shirt. And I say to my guys, I'm like, if we had a store in the neighborhood, I bet you would never go a day without selling a shirt. So literally like 3 days later, my guy hits me up like, I found a store on Frankfurt Ave. They only want like $650 a month for it. So I'm like, all right, we jump right into it.
Right.
And we just rent it out. We open it up March 1st, 2010. And here we are, like, come March will be 15 years. And I still don't think that we ever went a day without selling a shirt.
Yeah. That's fucking awesome, man. That's amazing, dude.
I always say, like, dude, if you think too long, you think wrong. Just do it.
Do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, it sounds like you're just a natural born risk taker too.
Like I said, I'll bet on myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I know that I'll stay up all night, all day, all night.
Figure it out.
Right? Yeah. And then like another thing is that like say like sales are slow, I'll literally just come up with the next idea or the next design, or like I know that I could like reach out to a couple people like, yo, I know that you always ask me for shirts, and I say no. I'm kind of slow right now. I'll make you the shirts, but you got to wear at least like 100 or something.
Right.
So
I got a buddy of mine real quick, is a dude from South Philly. I met him at work, and he always has this saying, make it happen. We just got to make it happen. Like, we're dying here at work. We got to finish. We'll just make it happen. And that's like what you do. Just make it happen.
That's it.
That's it, dude. You know, it's like, it's amazing to me that mindset and that resilience. And like, you know, I know you kind of like are not in recovery, but you stop drinking. You don't get high. Almost a year.
Yep. I'm 11 months out from having a drink. And that was the thing on Christmas. One of my issues is that over the last 4.5, 5 years is that I went through custody child support, right? And it is what it is. I really don't even want to go down that road. But anyway, I pretty much got everything that I wanted in this whole custody child support battle, except I've never had my son on Christmas morning, and he's 5. So I just want to like wake up and see my son see the gifts. Like it was always a big deal for my mom and like us kids. So like I want to experience that. So like last year on Christmas Eve, I ended up going to the store, getting a 12-pack. I literally sat up by myself, like watching TV, drinking. And Christmas morning, I woke up, I was just like, I'm just going to quit drinking for a year. And literally, I told myself that, here we are, like, Christmas is what, 3 weeks away?
That's fucking crazy. I wish I could have done that 15 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, we used to do, because my daughter's 21, and it was shared custody the whole time. And having her wake up Christmas Day at my house, it was not an option. It just wasn't. That's the way it was. So what we did was, you know, my girlfriend at the time, we just turned Christmas Eve into Christmas Day. So she would sleep over on the 23rd, wake up the 24th, and my family would do Christmas with Jada that day. You know what I mean? And that like helped me get through it. You know what I mean? Because yeah, obviously you want to wake up with your family, but her mom had a family and I didn't. I had a girlfriend or I didn't. You know what I mean? Like my sister, that's the one thing. The best part-time dad is still fucking part-time dad. I struggle with that to this day. You know, I'm not saying that's you, but that's a struggle.
Yeah,
it's a struggle.
Nah, like having my son definitely changed everything for me. Before my son, I mean, I kind of was on cruise control because just like I said, I can just make money like that if I need to. I bought a house, like I never miss a meal, things like that. And I guess I was always in it for like the legacy. Like I always thought that it was cool to be able to say like, oh, I got all these music shirts and music videos. I got all these different like athletes like Eagles. Like all them credentials were cool. But I never really made like the real money. Like I never made like $1 million or like anything like that. And when my son was born, to change everything, I was like, I would sell this company right now for like $5-10 million if I knew that my son would financially be free or not have to worry about it like anymore. So him being born changed how I like run the business, how I even look at the business, operate and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of crazy how like just having a kid could change your whole perspective on life.
Do you struggle with, you know, being proud of all the things that you've done? Like I have a hard time with that with myself.
So I say this and this is entrepreneur mindset, which I always thought it was entrepreneur mindset, but after talking to you, it just could be like at just anybody. But there's some days I wake up and I feel like a loser. I'm like, dude, did I do the right thing? Like I spent 20 years making shirts. I could have been a great employee somewhere else and have a pension. Like, I don't know. And then the next day, like I said, I could get a phone call from like the biggest artist in the world. I was just like, dude, I'm going to take over the world. But so it's just like, yeah, there are some days I feel like a straight POS, dude. And I feel like I like messed up everything. And then the next day I feel great.
Well, you know, so I talked to my wife about that. Like some people were bred to be business owners and some people are bred to be employees. And like, I'm an employee and like, I'm okay with that to an extent. You know what I mean? That's why we try to do different things outside of work. But like, I feel like there's two types of people. There's employees and there's owners. And you two are owners. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like you take a chance, you roll the dice. You know, the success and the failure is up to you, right?
Yep.
I mean, how does that look like in your business? Because you're about a year in, right? Almost.
Today's when I started the
Today's the year?
Yeah, today.
Get the fuck out of here. Congratulations. Yeah, congrats, bro.
Yeah, today's December 1st is when I started the LLC, and you know what I mean? Like he just said it. Like every day, it's some days you're riding high, and it's like Frank talks about it too. Like you get the real high highs and the real low lows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just something you deal with on a daily basis.
Yeah, well, because we talked a bunch throughout the year, like almost like we've kind of intuitively been struggling at the same times with like my career, your business, and like how do you get through it? And like the one thing we've learned, and you could probably relate, is the highs and the highs, the lows and the lows, they pass.
Yeah.
They pass. You know,
at the end of the day, when you think about it, say you're on your deathbed, right? And you know, say you're on your deathbed and literally you're thinking about your life.
Yeah.
Do you really want to sit there and be like, oh man, that one thing stopped me from doing everything, made me quit?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I say that all the time, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like with like the shit I've been through, like there's nothing to lose. You know what I mean? And I could have stopped this a long time ago. I could have, you know, went a different route. But today it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, why not me?
Yeah.
Before my whole life, it's always been, you know, you think everybody else and, you know, stuff like that, you know, whatever. But like now I have the mindset where it's like, you know, why not me?
Yeah,
like,
well, the thing is that even when you look at like people you look up to, because there's a ton of people now that I like look up to, super healthy, wealthy, seem to be happy, you know, great parents, whatever, right?
Yep.
And I think to myself, or they're not as smart. Like when it comes down to education, we're just as intelligent. Yeah. You know, when it comes down to work, I'm willing to work as hard as they do. Yeah. You know, so it's just like, why not me?
Yeah. And like last year, I was on a union job and like, you know, like, I'm like, if I put half the effort into working for myself, you know what I mean, as I do for somebody else, you know what I mean? Like, see where it goes.
And it paid off.
And it's paying off. Yeah. It's paying off. Like, it's, you know, it's definitely, but like I said, it's just pushing the limits and just trying to, you know what I mean? Every day better myself. Like, year one's done, you know, move on to year two. And, you know what I mean? Now I have different goals and different, you know, for year one is trying to start the business. You know what I mean? And getting all that. And now year two is like, all right, how can I get better? You know what I mean? What can I work on?
Well, I guess you two guys can answer this question, because asking for help is huge when it comes down to like business and things like that. And obviously there had to be a day where you guys were both like, dude, I can't do this anymore. I need help. Yeah. And it was for like recovery.
Yep.
Right. Mm-hmm. So is it easier in business to ask for help since you already went through that, right?
100%. Honestly, Jay, there's no, like, I have a network of business owners, just like in sobriety, you get people that are doing the right thing. You get with those people. I have a network of guys that are sober that have businesses and stuff like that. And it makes it that much easier. I can call someone at any given time.
Yeah. In recovery, it's a sponsor. In business, it's a mentor.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So like in that part, I'm blessed. Like, you know what I mean? There's not, I learned in life, there's like, I can't get through anything without without help from like
Absolutely.
you know what I mean? There's no two ways about it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
I struggle asking for help.
really,
Yeah, not in recovery, but like this is a problem.
I'll get this edited out. Yep. Sorry, Paul. Yeah, so back in the summertime, I was luckily enough, I got invited to go to an event in New Hampshire with Navy SEALs.
Yeah.
So the event starts off where there's a bunch of Navy SEALs. They take this stage and they talk about like what they learned in the field and their Navy SEALs training and how it transitions into like their personal life and business, right?
Yep.
And then they had like open questioning, so you could raise your hand, ask them questions, blah, blah. And then after that, you break up into teams and you play paintball for the rest of the day. It was fucking coolest day ever.
Yeah.
So, you know, we got Navy SEALs on our paintball team and we hung out with them all day. And then even the next day, there was like a big dinner. So some of the Navy SEALs I just sat down and got to chop it up with, right? They talk about that budge training, which is like hell week.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, Navy SEALs, like, they put you on the water, freezing cold. You got to do all this stuff. Like, dude, it's called hell week for a reason. And like 90% of the people quit.
Yeah.
It's only like 10% to make it, right? So I'm with the 10%, right? So I just want to know, like, what kept you going, right? Everybody had the same answer.
Let's hear it.
In their mind, quitting was never an option.
All right.
It's so crazy to think that, because the one guy I talked to, he was like, I went to college, but I was going to be a college dropout. I had nothing to go home to. I told my mom I wanted to do this. And he was like, there was no way I was going to tell my mom that like I quit.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, I ain't had nothing to go back to. Second guy, he was like, I was from a bad part of Chicago. I kept getting arrested. He goes, the judge told me like, I'm going to throw you in jail unless you sign a military contract. He's like, I signed a military contract. He's like, if I quit, I was going back to jail. Quitting was never an option. And then it's just so crazy, like, hear these stories. So, like, you know what the one guy says to me? Well, Jay, you had the fire, like the looting, you had all these things happen. It's like, why haven't you quit? I said,
Not an option.
not an option.
Not an option.
Nope. Could you imagine, Jay? This is like my identity now. I was like, yo, on social media, having like thousands of followers, going through the neighborhood. Like, there's nowhere I could go in this neighborhood where people are just like, yo, Jay, what's up? Blah, blah. I drive the art history truck. You're beep at me, blah, blah. Like, could you imagine if I quit?
Yeah.
I feel like I'd be letting everybody down. You know what I'm saying? Including myself. So I'm just
Yeah,
quitting
but
is never
worth
an option.
yourself. Yeah.
And we didn't talk about it, like when the podcast starts, the man in the arena. Like,
Yeah.
well, like I'm here now. Like, this is what I do.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, the union was great. Like, I learned so much and all that, but like, there's no going back.
No.
There's no going back. Like, I'm here now. You know what I mean? I'll make this work, hell or high water. You know what I mean? Just like that. And,
Yeah.
you know,
The man in the arena is I don't know if you looked at it or not, is the intro to the podcast with a bunch of pictures of my dad. So the reason why I picked that, when we were in treatment, they played a TED talk of this chick, Brene Brown. She wrote a book called Daring Greatly. And she quotes the man, like a portion of the man in the arena. I think it's Teddy Roosevelt's speech. Basically, like, you're on an island by yourself. It's like sink or swim. You know what I mean? If you fail, people are going to talk shit.
Yep.
If you succeed, people are going to talk shit. What do you do with that? You know what I mean? And for me, personally, it's like, it's hard. It was hard to put myself out there on the podcast. It's hard to put myself out there at work. It's hard to put yourself out there at recovery. It's hard to let the world know what's going on in your fucking brain. Like, I feel like my brain's poison, even though, like, you know, I look at it, like, I go to work every day. I go to the gym. I'm in fucking school. Like, I'm a dad. I'm a husband. I'm a brother. Sometimes it's fucking hard, but who am I going to complain to? I don't fuck. You just don't complain. You just go. You know what I mean? Like, you'll be at the gym, like, and I'll have a million and one things going on in my head on how I suck at life.
Mm-hmm.
And our therapist says, now, look at the facts. You know what I mean? Look at what you've been able to do in this amount of time, dude. The facts are right in front of your face, dude. You're doing the right thing. But in my head, I'm like, it's never enough.
Yep.
It's never.
You know what's crazy too is that, like, my brother's 2 years older than me, right?
Mm.
My brother is like the best cop. And like, literally everywhere I went, I'd be like, dude, and I meet cops, literally it's the first thing that they say, your brother's the best cop. They talk about like the worst drug corner in the city. Like, no one's ever able to get them guys. Your brother would, though. Like, he's won officer of the year, multiple years. Yeah. And like, me and him are super competitive, right? And it's so crazy because me and him could go places and everybody like, Jay from Art History, we love your stuff, blah, 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 blah. They see my brother like, what's up? I was like, the most unappreciated job of all time. I'm like the shirt guy. I'm getting like all this praise. I even lied, pistols away, like rapists and yeah. He's like after rapists and drug dealers, and they're like, oh, it's the cops. Like, F you, blah blah. I always find that funny.
That is crazy.
But I think that the fact that I do get a lot of praise, like literally on a daily basis. People tell me like, we love your stuff. We love what you're doing. Your story's so inspiring and things like that. Like on the days I didn't make money, that's the stuff that kept me going. Do you ever get a compliment? Do you ever think about like you yourself, you know, like journaling or I journal every day.
Do you really? You ever think about putting it out there?
Yeah. So I started writing the book. I have like a bunch of chapters done. And my favorite story in the book that I haven't put out yet was when I was in St. Tim's. I was really good at sports. So for soccer, we tried out. It was like my 7th or 8th grade year, so varsity. And I felt like I was like the best one on the field. I got cut. And I got cut because I was too much of a hot dog. Like I talked too much shit about yeah. So that's why they cut me. Not because I wasn't talented.
Right.
So many kids had tried out that they had an A team and a B team.
I've been on the B team.
So like I was on the B team, and I guess that I just played with like I had something to prove. Yeah. So that season, like we're in the semifinals, the score's like 0-0. And with like a couple seconds left, like the ball got kicked to me. Boom, I kick it, I score, right? Literally game over. They carry me off the field.
No shit.
Yeah. It was like the craziest thing, right? So I like wrote this whole story. It's like part of my book, whatever, but it's just it's called like the championship mindset, like that chapter, right? That championship mindset. And it's just like how you were saying, like sometimes like it doesn't matter what they say, right? Like the coach that cut me out, like at the end of the season, I want to be like, I'm better than you.
Yeah.
You know, man?
Yeah.
But it's just like that championship mindset. And on the days that I do feel like I suck, by like journaling, like is the thing that makes me feel better. So the three things that I journal every day is like my gratitude stuff. I do the affirmations, like instead of saying them out loud, I always like write them down. And then my third thing is always like I try to either just empty my brain, because there has been times in my life where someone explained this to me. Your brain is like a computer. If you have too many open tabs, your computer just runs slowly or will just shut down, crash.
Right.
And there's been times where I've been like that. I can't sleep. I have anxiety. I feel depressed, blah, blah. So like one of the ways to close all the tabs is just to like get it out on the paper.
Yeah, and it's kind of like what we do with AA.
The common theme with that is like anyone I hear talk to that talks about journaling or stuff like that, or puts like stuff down there, gratitude.
Yeah.
Gratitude.
Yeah.
Gratitude is the best weapon, I believe, for anything.
They
And
say
that's
that
my
you can't feel gratitude and like depression and sadness at the same time.
Yeah, I believe that. That makes sense.
You can't feel both of them emotions at the same time because they're polar opposites.
So like I can so like I can go through a day where I'm like shit's not going my way or whatever, and then pull up a Wawa at lunchtime and I see someone like picking a cigarette butt off the ground or whatever, a homeless guy, and I had that gratitude, like, you know what I mean? Just like that, it changes.
Well, I'll never forget what you said. You were driving down the shore one time and you just started crying.
Yeah,
like 'cause you were so appreciative of what, like everything that you've been through and the point that you were on that day to go down the shore with your family, and like you look back on all the years of chaos, like, and you see how far you've come, and it's all gratitude. It's like, that's how I pray. That's how I pray in the morning. I was like, first of all, I thank God to wake up and not have to want to drink or use, and not, the obsession's gone. But gratitude's a big thing, but I can easily forget at the same time, if I'm being honest. You know what I mean? I have to say the words. Yeah. My sponsor said, say the words. Yep. Eventually they'll become meaningful. You know what I mean? So that's how I started. I just say the words.
You could brainwash yourself.
I agree with that. You just say the fucking words, man.
So one thing that was a huge change for me was I opened up my copybook. On one page, on the left side, I wrote things that make me feel good and happy. And then on the other page, I wrote things that make me feel shit and sad. Like, and the first thing was having productive days. It's the first thing that I said, like, makes me happy. Because, like, if I wake up, go to the gym, work, take care of my son, cook, clean, but like, I just productive from like the time I wake up to the time I go to sleep, right? And then the things that like make me not feel happy and feel like shit, unproductive days. Yeah. Like, dude, if I was to sit around all day and do nothing,
fucking lose your mind.
Oh my God. Like,
so do you have a specific routine that you do? Like
I wake up at, so I became a part of this mastermind like a year and a half ago. And the dude, I try to follow the blueprint of other people that I look up to that are like successful. So the guy he told us, he's like, yeah, I wake up at 4:44 every day. So like on my phone, 4:44 every day. My alarm goes off. I go downstairs, I eat breakfast. I'm at the gym by like 5:30.
Yeah.
Yep. So like I got the key to the gym. So a lot of mornings, like even on my social media, I post up like I'm the guy that opens up the gym, turns the lights on.
How crazy is that?
Yeah.
Do you ever look back and see like, just the history of you, of your business, of your life, of, your family man, your business owner? You ever look back and think like, how the fuck did I get here?
Yes and no, but like I've always felt like I was destined for success.
Yeah.
And I've always felt for a very long time like people looked at me as like a successful guy. And just recently ran into a guy and he goes, you inspired me to like get in shape.
Mm-hmm.
And like he looked great with it, right? I'm like, oh, that's what's up, blah, blah. He's like, how are you? He's like, never mind, I know that you're always bad. Right? So, dude, I'll be honest with you. Sometimes that crown is hard to carry.
Always having to be the guy that's doing the right thing all the time.
Bro, if I showed you how many people ask me for help on a daily basis, like donate a basket. Like the guys that work for me sometimes are like, dude, it gets out of control because like everybody, like Jay would literally give away his last, but I truly believe the way that God and the universe works is that every time that you give, like it just comes back to you twofold.
Yeah, it's karma.
So like even just the other day, someone told me like, I got $10 left in my name. I said, go out and give it away. It's going to come back to you. He's like, so imagine that. Yeah, so you go. Yeah, but like the crazy thing is that I truly believe that. And like it is. I mean, sometimes it is hard to carry that crown, but at the same time with kids, friends, all that other stuff, when people look at me, I want them to be like, I could do it too.
Yeah. Well, I think for someone like you, it's like you built such a strong foundation, right, of doing all the things that got you to the point you are today. And like even on the off days, your foundation is so strong, right? Your structure is so big and durable that you're able to get through those off days and keep wearing the crown, like you said, and just keep doing the right thing. And like you got too much to lose. You put together too much time. All the effort is out there. It's tangible. You see it. And like now there's really just like what we're hearing today. There's like no excuse. You got to stay sober. Not for you personally, but like there's no excuse to keep going, to keep moving forward. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it.
Yep. And then like even the guys that work with me, right? So 2 years ago when the Phillies were in the playoffs, it was just like everybody wants to see like the art history, Phillies World Series shirt, blah, blah, right? We posted up. The orders are coming in like crazy, right? Now we manually make everything like in the basement. We press all the tags on. It's a time consuming process, right? So my guys are like, oh my God, like they just see like thousands of orders just like coming in, right? How are we going to get this done? I'm just like, let's go. One shirt at a time. So I'm like, let's go. Right. So literally I'm working like 16 hours, 18 hours. Like literally I'm just going home, just like take a shower, come back. Well, and like my guys say, they're like, dude, you're like a machine. Like it's so crazy because when I I'll just go.
You have to.
Yeah.
I get it. You ever hear of Jordan Peterson?
Yep.
So I'll probably butcher it a little bit, but he was talking about like, not necessarily the goal of life, but what makes people keep going in the positive direction. He's like, you set a goal, right? And the goal is like the pinnacle of the mountain. You get up to the pinnacle of the mountain, you're looking around, whether you see another pinnacle, and you can't stay satisfied for too long. You have to go achieve the next goal and the next goal, and it never ends. And that's what drives you. That's what makes you who you are. And you talked about earlier, it's a blessing and a curse. It's the only way I know how to live. Whatever the goal is that I have in mind with my wife, my family, personally, like I have to get there. And then when I get there, I might appreciate it for a fucking minute, but then there's going to be another goal. And like blessing and a curse, 100%, but I wouldn't fucking change it.
What I say, like when you look at like a Kobe Bryant or a Michael Jordan, they work so hard every day. Like, dude, they were saying like Michael Jordan was making Space Jam. They like built a basketball court around like the Space Jam studio, and he was still playing like pickup games 5 times a day. And stuff, right?
Well, even Kobe has the classic interview. They're up 2-0 in the championship. The dude's like, why aren't you happy? What's there to be happy about?
Yeah,
job's not finished.
So here's the thing is that they do it just for that one day that they win the trophy.
Yeah.
For like them 2 hours of like shedding tears, like, oh, I finally made it. And then it's just like the next day it's like, all right, let's go.
Remember that classic commercial with Emmitt Smith? Like when the Cowboys were crushing, the Cowboys win the Super Bowl, and then Emmitt Smith's like taking one day off, and then the commercial's him bench pressing. And he's like, yeah, one day. That's it. That's all you get. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, blessing and a curse,
Blessing and a
dude.
curse,
You know?
Yeah.
So what the reason why I think we even got to this point, or we've known each other for a long, long time, but you know, we came to you a couple weeks ago about the Be the Miracle event we're having December 15th. We changed the location. It's going to be Kensington, Somerset, right in front of the last stop now, just for like I think it's like permanent reasons.
Yeah.
So, you know, me and Rich came up with the idea, and the first person we thought of, like literally the first person we thought of was you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how could we get you involved with us? And I mean, we came to your shop. You were more than, you know, helpful with, you know, being a part of it, creating the hoodies for us, you know, designing them, making them. And, you know, if the only thing that comes out of this is that I'm in your life, then, you know, I'll be happy because, you know, and I blame myself a lot. Like, you know, whatever, you know, you're not the best person growing up. Sometimes you make some bad decisions and, you know, you go one way or the other. So I blame myself for the reason why we're not closer than we are today. But if anything comes out of this and our relationship grows, then that's good for, I like that. You know what I mean? This is huge because like the one thing about the podcast is like, I didn't know it was going to turn into this, but like you start meeting people, they want to help, you want to help. And it like turns into this thing. And like, thanks to Rich, like without Rich, like, I don't think I've even would have gotten this far. You know what I mean? It's like, it's pretty cool to be able to do this with you two guys, like today, my house on a Sunday. You know what I mean? It's just, it's special. It's special.
It comes back to, he was just talking about it. Like people always come to you, like, it's because Jay, you are that, like, you know what I mean? Like I know, you know what I mean? With me personally, and do I not tell you? I'm going to tell you, I tell you this all the time. It's like when I was at my worst, like Jay never batted. He just always treated me the same.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And we all know a lot of people we've lost a lot of people to addiction and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's why with Jay, it's like, he was the perfect for me for us to ask, like, you know what I mean? Because
I know that like, you could change your life around like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I want everybody to succeed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then like as human beings, like especially being kids and stuff like that, like when you're a kid growing up, you're just dealt the hand of cards that you're dealt.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dude, look at the hands that I was dealt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You could turn it around. So like, I would never judge just because, and like, it's all about this. Like, I didn't get shirts in Beyonce music video just because like I ran up on Beyonce and was like, I'm the best shirt guy. You know what I mean? Like literally it just went from him. It went from me like continuously like helping people helping me, me doing favors, people doing favors for me, like blah, blah. Like literally it's just like we all help each other climb the mountain. You know what I'm saying? So like, you can't do it by yourself. Yep. And the people out here that are like struggling, like they don't got friends. They're not out here helping. Some of them people are the most selfish people. And I like think to myself that I'm just like, yo, just take this week and just go help everybody that you could possibly help. Like it would literally change your mindset. It would change everything.
Yeah.
People would want to return the favor.
Well, that's the biggest thing in recovery. Like when you're feeling shitty, when you're off, when you're having downtime, when you don't feel good about yourself, you know, some of the old heads will say, who the fuck you helping? Yourself, you selfish prick.
Yeah. I mean, listen, dude, even in the morning time, I have like a list of people where I'm just like, good morning, having a meeting. Just do that. I do that all the time. I've been doing that, right? So just
isn't that powerful, man? Like it's just part of the routine to start a good day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Is that like so when I first started making shirts, one of the things I loved about it was like, I love the art aspect and I love clothes and sneakers and all that other stuff. So I love that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But just to put yourself in my shoes, right? Imagine just like a young kid, I'm painting shirts for the See White shirts. So this is their first time, right? So your best friends that you hang out with every single day, like come, they put on the shirt, they look in the mirror like, dude, this joint is fire. Like what you just did made them happy, right?
Yeah.
So not only that is there's that Deion Sanders saying like, when you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you play good. Yeah. When you play good, you get paid good, right?
Yeah.
So I'm the guy, I like my shirts made people feel good.
Yeah.
So for a very long time, I didn't make money, but like, or I should say like, I didn't make any like real money to where like that was priceless for me.
Mm-hmm.
So like now with the good morning text, right? Let me get back to that, right? Someone said to me like, okay, well, everybody messages everybody. Like anybody could just say like, good morning, blah, blah, like turn the camera on. Okay. Give them a good morning video. So like, dude, I started doing that, dude. And it's like, people love it. Like
the other day before Black Friday, I'm like, this dude, He's already posted a video as 4:30, 5 o'clock.
And I'm just like telling people, like, have an amazing day, like, blah, blah. And like the crazy thing is, that's why I mean about like you could brainwash yourself. There's some days that I just feel like shit. Of
course.
I'll literally turn the camera on and be like, I just want everybody to have an amazing day.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. Before I went to rehab, I started recording myself on the way to work, like recording the pain that I was in, like, and coming up with a plan to stop getting high. And I was recording it. You know, it didn't work out. I don't know what I was thinking in my head. Like, maybe if I watch myself dying a slow death, I'll stop.
Did you delete those videos?
Yeah. You could probably, you could probably get on this. Boy.
But in reality, what you did got you to this moment right now.
That's the beauty of it all, man. It really is like
everything that we've done, everything you've done, everything you've done, like it all got us to this point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Every good, bad, whatever.
It's like, it took what it took. And like, this is the universe just kind of like putting things together.
And
you know what I mean?
And not for not, like my situation, like a lot of times I look at it as a blessing.
Yeah.
I mean, bad, like being there for my mom, taking her last breath and all that. Like I always try to find the silver lining, and you know what I mean? And it's stuff like that pushes you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To better yourself and do all those things. So
I mean, I don't know about you guys. I wouldn't, there's only one thing I would change about this journey I've been on. It would relate to my dad. But as far as my addiction, my life, my struggles, I wouldn't change a thing. It got me to this point today, December 1st, with you two guys. Like, you know, it just shook out the way it was supposed to. I believe that.
And what you guys are doing with Be the Miracle is just like an amazing thing.
Yeah, it's like I never thought about ever doing something like this, and the support that we've got, it's crazy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, so Rich has a bunch of, like, we know the same people for the most part in recovery, but he has like intimate relationships with a lot of business owners and all the support that they gave us, and we're going to talk about that at the end. And you know, it was hard for me to call the two people that I called that I used to work with. I called the electrician contractor John Rue and H&W Mechanical Bob Johnson, and they were so fucking supportive. The one guy posted it on his LinkedIn, you know, sent it out. His business partner's wife sent us a Venmo, and you know, I went and picked up a check off the electrician last week, and they were so supportive, man. And like, I didn't know how it was going to go because like we've never done it before, and like just the level of support with like family and friends, and it's been crazy.
You want to hear something crazy that you guys are getting a lot of personal, like I never talk about some of the stuff that, like I said some stories today that probably I haven't told in 25 years. But for a very long time, if people posted up a GoFundMe on like a Facebook or something like that, I would always just go and pay $25.
Really?
That's like me, because at the time, the average cost of art history shirt is $25. So anyone that posted GoFundMe, regardless if I knew them or not, whatever it's for, blah, blah, I just always donate that $25 because it's just like me giving them a free shirt, right? So I don't know if you noticed, but the art history store burned down in March of 21. I didn't have insurance, right? So I lost everything, and it crushed me, right? So my sister-in-law calls me up. She's like, Jay, we want to do a GoFundMe for you. I'm like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be the guy that's a charity case. I'm not going to be the guy that people say like, oh, well, I donated money, you owe me or blah, blah, right? So I talked to a real good friend of mine. He was like, that's just all your ego and pride, dude. He goes, you helped so many people. Now it's your turn, right? So we did a GoFundMe literally within like 48 hours. There was over 16K in the GoFundMe, and that was able to help us get like new equipment and
back on your feet.
Just get back on our feet, whatever, right? And that's what I mean, man, the way that like God and the universe works, like what you guys are doing with these hoodies right now, you never know how it will come back to you. And I truly believe that like me being able to survive that, like, dude, that literally would have put like so many small businesses out of business. I lost everything. And even having to call my employees that day and be like, bro, I'm sorry, we didn't have insurance. We just lost everything. Right. So it was like terrible.
And they stuck with you.
Yeah.
They stuck with you. It's because of who you are.
I know.
Yeah.
But by doing things like this, what you guys are doing with the Be the Miracle, it's just like it's going to come back to you twofold.
Well, we're already thinking about like, what could we do? Like, you know, listen, I'm an open book on the podcast. We can't, I'm not saying we can't do the same thing again, but we got to go about it a little differently. We can't just come up with an event and ask for donations. So we want to come up with an idea that at least gives people the opportunity to do something as part of like donating. Like we talked briefly about maybe like a Be the Miracle softball tournament or something like that. Something along those lines where people like to get to actually do something with the money that they're going to donate. Well, we're gonna see where it grows. Like it's a whole new life for us right now. You know what I mean?
The whole thing's just like awareness. Yeah, awareness to down there. Like it's not to, you know what I mean? You were susceptible to being down there. You were like I was down there. We like it. There's no that stigma we talk about too. It's just like, you know, multiple people have done things like this or whatever, but like just really bringing awareness. You know what I mean? Like really just trying to help. Focus on one person. Focus on, you know, it'd be nice to get 250. You know what I mean? But like focus on one person.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that could be the change, and then that one person can help one person, and you know, and so on.
Yeah, the butterfly effect. Yeah.
What do you guys think would be the change for like a place like Kensington and Somerset? What do you think that that place needs to do to change it around?
Like I don't want to get all political, but the amount of money that goes to other countries that they should go to these fucking neighborhoods. I mean, like it needs money, it needs support, it needs education, it needs awareness. Like Tafe said, like, you know, you can't just pick an area like Amsterdam on the fucking wire and be okay with that. That's fucking insanity, dude. Mm-hmm. My sister was down there. You were down there. Gonzo was down there. A million other people that we know were down there. And like, you know, you don't have to worry about getting locked up. You just got to find a place to fucking sleep. God knows what you're doing to get what you need to get. Like, I don't know, man.
It's tough. I don't know. You want to like say, oh, they should do this and that, but like, my thing is like bringing attention on like trying to help these people. These are regular people. They're not fucking animals. They're not like, yes, our choices get us down there, but like they're not like, you know, this is someone's son. This is someone's
daughter. Yeah,
like,
mom, dad.
My thing, and I know it might be wishful thing, is like compassion, more compassion to down there. You know what I mean? Like we know what's going on down there. These are like, you know, having that compassion, not just like brushing under the rug, like trying to help the people that want to get help, or trying outreach, talking to them, like, you know, like stuff like that. That's my opinion. You know, I lost my dad. My dad overdosed on fentanyl. Like, you know what I mean? Like someone's father's down there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Someone's father is not going to be there next Christmas. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Someone's brother, someone's son, someone's daughter is not going to be there next Christmas. You know what I mean? That's the reality of it.
Well, I think like it's probably impossible to think that we can end the situation down there, but like there's this classic picture in the rooms, like where God has you see his hand and he's just plucking a person out of a line that's walking into the bar.
Yeah.
So like if anything that we do on December 15th gives a person an opportunity to be plucked from the fucking line, then it's a win. Then it's a win. Like I don't know how to treat it as like a macro thing. I don't know. Do you have thoughts about it? I'm guessing you brought it up.
Well, because of the fact that I've never had to go down that road where like I had the self-control to where like, all right, if I need to stop, I just stop. Mm-hmm. Right? I never had that issue, but I've seen so many people, right? But from what I understand is that like they have to be the one that wants it.
Yes. That's the only way. That at the end of the day, that's the only way to stop. Like you gotta, like, I think you talked about it earlier with the Navy SEALs. Like you had no other choice. Mm-hmm. And like I think that's why him and I are sitting here today. We had no other choice. But you have to get to that point where you recognize that you have no other choice to be able to make a difference, to change, you know? And, you know, like just from our own life, like you just get so stuck in the routine of negativity and drinking and using and all the chaos. And, you know, something happened for me personally that I had no other choice but to stop. And like
isn't it crazy when it comes down to it? It's just all mindset.
That's everything in life is mindset.
Exactly.
Everything in life, dude. And like we're probably very similar. Like I listen to a lot of different things that get me jazzed up about life. You know what I mean? YouTube, podcasts, different things. Like, you know, Rogan and Jordan Peterson, Jocko, they always talk about it. Motivation is fucking bullshit. It comes and goes. It's fucking bullshit. The only thing that matters for guys like us is discipline and consistency. It's the only fucking way. You know, for years, I just couldn't mentally realize that I had to fucking control myself with consistency and discipline to get out of the fucking hole I was in. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a struggle, man.
Well, it's funny because there's a blueprint for success out there, right? Because over the last 100 years, they would have been able to study who becomes like a millionaire, who becomes the guy with the six pack, who becomes, you know, the great dad, blah, blah. There's like statistics on this. And then it's just like, what do these people do that makes them so different from everybody else? Right. And I'll just try to follow the blueprint. Right. So like I've seen somewhere it's like the top CEOs read at least like 30 books a year. Mm-hmm. Right. So it's like I read more books now than I ever did. Right. And it's just like people talk about like the ice bath stuff. Right. It's like I started taking ice baths. It's like people wake up to hit the gym every day. So, all right, I hit the gym every day. All right, I joined a mastermind. I got mentors now. Like I try to, there ain't no secret sauce here.
No,
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, all right, find 5 people that you look up to that are like successful, and just ask them or follow them. Be like, what do you do? What's your daily basis look like? Like, what time you waking up? Are you hitting the gym? Are you not hitting the gym? What books are you reading? This, that, and that thing, blah, blah. Like, I'll be honest with you. I was a track C student. Yeah, man. Like, I just barely passed. I hated school. I finally found something I was like passionate about. And then now I just care about making a life for like myself and my family. So now that I look at all these other people, like, dude, you got a beautiful house. How you do it? Yeah. Yo, you got a 6-pack. How you doing it? Yo, you got $1 million in the bag. How you doing it? You know, man. And so my brother-in-law,
footwork.
That's what it comes down to.
Put in the footwork.
My brother-in-law went to UPenn. He's my wife's brother. He's a computations biologist. His whole career is math, data and math. And everything for him is time under tension, right? So it's like everything you just described, it's all just time under tension. You just got to keep fucking doing it. You know, it never ends. You know what I mean? You want the 6-pack, you got to eat right? You want to be sober, you got to go to meetings. Do you want to be a business owner where you got to network with people that know what the fuck's going on so you can learn? You know what I mean? You want to be, have more knowledge about the world, you got to read more. Like, all these things are right there. It's not like a secret. Like you said, it's like you just got to put the footwork in. It's
stick with the winners.
And somebody else told me this, like, in business, right? So it's like, I was just making enough to like keep the lights on and the doors open, right? And he was like, dude, just be consistent, keep hitting singles.
Yeah.
Right? And then he was like, every once in a while, you'll hit a grand slam, bro. Like, you'll get a double here, you'll get a triple there. You know what I'm saying? That's why if you look at a baseball player statistic, I mean, back in the day, now it's just like they either strike out or home run. But like back in the day, it was like you were probably more likely to hit a bunch of singles.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you were more likely to do is hit a bunch of doubles. Then rarely you would hit a triple. Rarely you hit a home run, right? Rarely you hit a grand slam. But then when them things come in, it's like it just rains down like a huge blessing.
So give me the first grand slam that you can remember that you had in business.
So get this, right? I got asked to do the GWAT shirt, which was like the Global War on Terrorism shirt.
Okay.
So somebody asked me, like, saying like there's been 288 soldiers from Pennsylvania that died. We're trying to raise money for the 288 soldiers that died. They're going to build a memorial, blah, blah, right? So we ended up selling $25,000 of this one t-shirt. It was like the most that we ever sold back then. And it literally, we're working nonstop, making no money. Cause like I'm donating $10 off each shirt and it like probably cost me just as much, like whatever, right? So even though we might have been taking a loss, it was like we were getting all this awareness and stuff like that. So I donated $10,000, like one of them big checks. We donated $10,000, right? At the time, I didn't even have $10,000 in the bank. And then like not too long after that, I had my first like $10,000 day in business.
Really?
And I felt like, dude, we just did 10 day. Yeah, but I was like, when I worked up a skill, I made like 22,000, right? And then like, we had our first 100K month, and I was just like, what? Like, I never really bought myself like nice stuff, so I like went out and bought myself a real nice watch like the first time we hit 100K on a month.
No shit. 100K in a month. Yep. That's a fucking grand slam.
Yeah. So
so what's a grand slam look like for you now?
Probably like $1 million in the bank.
Yeah. That'd be a good grand slam for me.
Yeah. That thing is that like even like this weekend, it was Black Friday, it's Small Business Saturday. I've been investing in the crypto forever. So like right now, crypto is going crazy. Yep. So it's just like I had like some real good, smart business people around me that are like doing real estate, and I'm involved. So like last month I partnered up with someone. We did a land deal. So like I own some land now and things like that. So like I just kind of feel like that's not too far from me. So like I was with somebody 2 weeks ago, very, very successful business guy. So he was like, why do you care so much about $1 million? He's like, you're not thinking big enough. It's got to be 10. Why not 10? And I was like, yeah, you're right. Why not 10?
Yeah. You know who Jim Rohn is?
Yeah.
He says that.
Yep.
He says that. He was focused so much on making $1 million that one of his mentors was like, what do you mean $1 million? You got to be thinking of 100 million, because every good thing that happens while you're chasing that 100 million will get you past $1 million, among other things.
Yeah.
That's why,
Yeah, I fucking rose it, man. I'm the man. So like, that's another thing is that for the longest time in my life, like I just drove around listening to music.
And
that's probably rare now. Yeah, all I do is like listen to people like Jim Rohn, motivational, but like I download audio books, things like that. So like, yeah, I'm just trying to feed my brain all that positivity, you know?
Well, the crazy part about us sitting right here today with you is, you grew up on Fanshawe Street in a neighborhood, as blue collar as it gets, you know what I mean? And you turn your life into a situation where you're a successful business owner, the sky's the limit, you know what I mean? Your goals are amazing, and like, if you had any advice for the 16-year-old Jay Pross on Fanshawe Street today, what would it be?
Change the people you're around.
That's it, right?
Yeah. Get around better people.
Fucking derelicts, my dad used to say. We call Joe McGinnis a derelict.
If you ask my mom right now, she would tell you, like, she's been telling me since I was younger, like, they're not your friends, and like get around better people and stuff like that. And like I said, the most successful I was when I was just like flying around like the world like by myself.
Yeah.
It's funny how our parents give us that advice, and like it takes till we're almost 40 or over 40. It's like, Dave, they were fucking right. And you are who you hang out with.
Yeah. My thing is that I don't want to sound negative about it, because I wish everybody the best, and I love like everybody and everything. Right? I don't have hatred towards anybody, but I wish everybody the best, but there are better people out there. And like, it's crazy because even one of my best friends is in North Carolina, and because you could FaceTime, like literally, I talk to this guy all the time.
Somebody you grew up with?
No.
I've
known him for 20 years though.
Right.
But we live in the internet day, so it's just like between phone call, text message, Zoom, FaceTime, this, that, and other thing, you could literally surround yourself with the best people out there.
Yeah, really, sky's the limit with as far as connecting with people these days.
Another thing is that like, you ever heard this saying, just like invest in yourself, invest in yourself, right? So it's just like the way that I look at my perspective on that from back then to now is that like I understand it like way more, right? So like every dollar that you invest in yourself, whether it's buying a book, being a part of like a networking mentorship group, for me, buying the right equipment, hiring the right employees, this and another thing, blah, blah, like I would rather spend all my money on investing into myself. Like, another thing is that all of the top people still have teachers, right? So like,
we never stop learning.
Yeah, so like, if you go to the gym, like, dude, get a personal trainer. You know what I mean? With business, like, just pay for the mentorship. Like, it's so crazy that like we'll spend like money on the dumbest thing. Like you'll spend $500 on something so stupid.
Yeah, you know? Starbucks for the month, loser.
Yeah, or like you can take someone out on a date or something like that. Like spend all this money right on a date, and then like something that could better your life could cost the same amount of money, and you're just like, nah, yeah, you know what I mean? So now I just like look at it totally different.
Yeah, I read this. So the first graduate program I was in was sports psychology. I remember I read this book. I think it was called The Pursuit of Happiness. And one of the quotes in there, it just came to me, was limits begin where vision ends. You have to see yourself as a no limits person, right? Like basically what I got from that is there's not one thing in this world, within reason that I can't accomplish. I'm probably never going to be the president, obviously, but like there's not, with enough hard work and perseverance and resilience like you have, there's nothing that you can't do. If you can see it, if you can manifest it into reality, like it's all possible. I think like you are a fucking perfect example of that.
Well, you hear all these sayings throughout your life.
Yeah.
So my son just started kindergarten, and like I go in there and they have all these signs like on the wall in kindergarten, and I'm just like, I would literally hang these signs up in my store, right? Yeah, he was like, you've been there the whole time. It's not a saying. Yo, it's so crazy because like when I went there, I'm like reading it, it just says like about being a good human being, like you could do anything you put your mind to, blah, blah. They teach you this in kindergarten.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, we're like 40 years old. It's just like, oh, I get it now.
Yeah.
Like, how did it take us this long?
They're finally awake.
Yeah.
I was looking at because Mr. Bud commented on the thing, and they said St. Francis. I was looking at St. Francis de Sales quotes, and I'm like, St. Francis de Sales in the A? Like, all this stuff. I'm like, wait, this was there the whole time?
The shit that was on our shirts at Judge was non-accident. You shall not fail.
Hey, it's like, so after he said that, I started going into it and looking, and I'm like, this has been there the whole time.
It's all right there. I have the bad habit now of I just get the most inspirational, motivational quote that I know, and I just get them tattooed on me. I got one on my chest, one on my arm, on my back, dude. It's like, you never forget that shit now, bro. Yeah. So what I wanted to do, if you're okay with it, we just want to take time to thank the people that helped us out along the way, dude. So what I'm going to do is when we post the podcast, we'll have each business logo, pop up on the podcast as it goes through. Obviously, the art history. So I know you want to go through some. You have one on your phone. You want to just knock them out real quick?
Yep, I know most of them. First of all, I'd like to thank Art History 101.
Absolutely.
You came up with a very dope sign, a dope, design.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
And this will be like for some people, it's going to be the only Christmas present they get.
Yep.
And then they're going to have one of the dopest designs. By the dopest.
Yeah. The thing is, someone already asked me, like, are you going to be selling that? Because like people already want to buy them.
Yeah, I've got reached out on the side from people that aren't necessarily involved with what we're doing, but like, how do I get one?
Yep. So like, my thing is that if you want to, like, we could do that as well. So like, it gets your stuff out there even more and things like that. But that's totally on you guys.
Yeah. I think they're fucking awesome.
Definitely want to thank you.
Yeah.
For real.
The fact that I'm honored to be able to just play my role.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm the shirt guy. This is an amazing thing. These guys came to me, whatever. So I'm just happy to play a role.
Well, like, if I'm being dead honest, like when Tate said he wanted to go to your shop to do it, I'm like, fuck, I'm not really sure if fucking Prost even likes me, dude. I really don't know where we left off in life, And I was conflicted about it. Like, but then, like, as soon as I walked in, it was just like another Friday night at my fucking house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nothing had changed. Like, you know what I mean?
Like, cool. The thing is, Rich used to come into art history, man. And sometimes, like, he would be there for a while.
Just hanging out. Yeah, all juiced up.
Yeah. But like, the thing is that, like, it just don't faze me. It never makes me like look at someone and think them different.
Yeah,
like that. Even with all the falling outs that I've had with like people, everyone's forgiven, and I hope that they've forgiven me too. Like, I don't.
Well, that's how I feel. Like, my whole high school trajectory changed because of a relationship I had with Barrelhead that I can never fix. And I'd be lying if I said I don't think about that. I was close with a lot of people, and I drew the line in the sand by my actions, and I went one way with some people, and then my other friends went another way, and rightfully so. And, it's just, you can't fix that. You know what I mean? Like, me and Barrelhead are on a text level. If I text him now, we respond. He sent me actually a picture of, he was listening to the Drag On in his car. He sent me the picture, just reminds me of you. So like, it's over, and we're adults, we're family members now, we're dads. But that's one thing I regret more than words can say.
How do you let go?
What is that?
How do you let go?
Well, just living right.
Yep.
That's my only option at this point. I think, we don't talk, Barrelhead and I, but, Gleason helped me out with my engagement ring, and like, they're super close. And I think, the history that I changed or caused, or however you want to look at it, I think everyone is past it, but I was the culprit. You know what I mean? So, I think he knows at this point, because we've talked, it's over 20 years ago, we've talked, and he knows that I was wrong, and he knows that I know that I was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Can't change it. Just gotta live right.
Well, the way that you're talking about it, man, you gotta let it go.
Yeah. Well, like, I think you being in my house right now, it's just like, it's an intimate connection to that time of my life.
I understand. Yeah, I mean, listen, there's been times where, I dropped the ball too. Like, even just a couple of days ago, some dude literally was like screaming in my face for an hour. I let him go. I just was like, yeah, go ahead. One of the things that I believe that he was screaming at me is because he wanted me to help him. And I just don't like the way that he treats me at times, because of the fact that, like, I consider myself a man of value, and I would never just like scream in your face.
Mm-hmm.
And he's that kind of guy, right? So like, I was willing to help him, and I did, but then it got to the point where like me and him got on the phone, and I just felt like he was being, and I just thought to myself, I don't need this, right? So I pretty much just stopped answering all his phone calls and text messages. He was literally calling me like 1,000,000 times, right? Leave voicemails, everything. I'm just like, dude, this dude won't give up, really. So months went by, I ran into him. He's screaming in my face for like an hour, right? So like, I apologize, saying like, I was wrong. I should have just told you, like, I'm out. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to help you, right? And what I realized is that there's a lot of falling outs that I had because I've always been in a situation to help people. And sometimes it's people get mad at me because I won't help them. It's kind of crazy to think.
It is crazy. Well, you hear that shit like with like athletes that have big families. Yeah, we already gave you $1 million, but you want 2?
So it's just like I did help him, yeah. And then it's just crazy because the very next day, like, because he wanted me to send him leads. The next day, I sent him another lead. He was like, "Thank you," whatever, right? And like I've gotten to the point where like I've just like let it all go. You know what I mean? I don't know if you guys noticed, but like after the fire happened, me and my mom split ways because she was working at art history.
Really?
The fire exposed a lot of stuff. We went separate ways. My mom didn't talk to me for 2 years. And then like it took for me to be like, reach out. And like that's another thing too, is that like as a leader, like you're always the guy that gotta like reach out.
Yeah.
You always gotta be the bigger person.
You know, it's funny you just said that, dude. So Thanksgiving, my sister comes over. She's like, mom's in town. My mom lives in Arizona. I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, mom flew into Philadelphia, had lunch with one of our stepsisters, and then went to Hershey, PA for Thanksgiving and didn't tell us. My sister was very upset because, like she didn't come see her nephews. So I thought about it all fucking Thanksgiving. Like I could have like added fuel to the fire. I just waited a day. I texted my mom. I said, Mom, I don't mind that you didn't reach out, but I'm like, I really suggest that you talk to Natalie because she's very hurt. And I was hurt too, but I'm like, she's very hurt. And if you don't squash this with Natalie, it's probably going to be a wedge that can never be fixed. And we talk. It's just to your point. Like and I think that's sobriety because even my wife got on me. She's like, "Where's your fucking balls at?" You know what I mean? She was wrong. I'm like, nah. I'm like you just gotta. Sometimes you gotta look past the bullshit and realize what's important.
Yep.
That's what it comes down to. And so I get everything you just said.
And then even communication.
Yeah.
Like it's so weird how at times like we just lack communication, how much trouble that could get us in.
Oh yeah, that's what they beat you over the head in rehab this time was the opposite of addiction is connection. It's just communication with people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Understanding where they're coming from and why, and finding common ground.
Yeah, because I truly believe that most human beings are genuinely good.
I believe that.
And sometimes people think that that's my downfall. I guess it could be at times like, oh, you see the good in everybody. I've heard that so many times. And I'm just like, I do.
Yeah.
You're absolutely 100% right. I'm glad sometimes that when people like tell me about myself, because I'm just like, you're making me aware.
Yeah. It's funny. My dad was like that, and my grandfather, my mom's dad, said to me one time, Bruno is the type of guy that if you walk down the street and you slapped him in the face, he wouldn't fight you. He would just be like, why'd you do that? And I got so mad. I'm like, no, he wouldn't. He would fucking fight. I swear to God, he would fight. But like, he just saw the good in all things. What he didn't like was bullies. That's a whole different story. If you were a bully, then he won't fuck you up. But I get your point, though. You just see the good in people because what's the alternative? Think everyone sucks? You know what I mean? I don't want to live like that.
It's great. People will be like, you're so positive. You're so positive. I'm like, it's because that's what the world sees. Right? So like out in the world, I am. You know what I mean? There's times that I'm like, it's funny because I had this conversation with somebody. I'm like, why is it at the end of every night? Like when I put my son to bed, we can have the greatest day, dancing, singing, eating ice cream, blah, blah. Like, but then at nighttime, my son will bring up like, Dad, did you know like grandma's dog died? And I was just like, yo, for the last like 15 hours, we partied and like just laughed and everything like that. And they said to me, they're like, well, at the end of the day, it's when your brain actually is like calming down. You have time to think. Because like the daily, like as of right now, our brain is focused on this stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just so busy.
Just like that 11 stuff.
Yeah, exactly. In the daily grind.
Yeah.
So like I'm the positivity guy, and I do try to see the positive thing in everything and everybody. But I mean, there are times where I get in my head too.
Yeah.
I'm a human.
Yeah. My wife's very similar. You know what I mean? She has no tolerance for bullshit. And if someone's bullshitting, she might not say it to that person, but she'll let me know that they're bullshit. And like, I'll be the opposite. I'll know they're bullshit, but still be like feeding into it. Because I don't want, what sobriety has given me this time is, I could talk shit in my head all day. I just don't do it out loud anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
that's the difference.
Yeah, and I think that's okay.
Yeah.
I think that
you can think however you want. It's just, you know what I mean? You can not like older people at the end of the day, but, you don't gotta like everyone.
Yeah.
But if they ask for your help, you gotta help them.
Yeah, and that's
the difference between sobriety and not. Yeah. I mean, is that, you don't like someone, they reach out to you for help, you gotta help them.
You gotta help them. That just happened to me. Well, that's another story. Yeah. But okay, please do the honor of let's thank the guys that helped us out.
Yep.
And we'll flash their logo when we publish the podcast, and we'll try to bring awareness to their businesses as well.
Yep. First we got Mark Daly Construction. another miracle. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you won't mind me pointing that out.
Mm-hmm.
We have Big Joe's Roofing. We have JBX Roofing.
Yep.
Another miracle in itself. And then we have Huff and Sons Windows and Doors. And we have Pace Roofing.
Yep. We got Atlas Appliance with Gonzo, Joe Gulkin.
Yep.
He helped us out. Who else we got? You said Mark Daly, Pace, JBX said that?
Yep.
So the person that made the digital copy of the signs for us and made the sign for what we're going to post at the last stop is Laserplex. My wife's friend Tina Roos and her husband Ricky. They made the signs for us. Bob Johnson from H&W Mechanical. They were a big help. They posted us on LinkedIn as well. John Rue from Rue Electric. These were guys that I worked with on my last project. Neighborhood guys, one's from Ione, one went to Judge. They helped us out. A lot of our family members helped us out. I won't get into, I'll just say, as a whole, a lot of the Glottis helped us out. My wife's friends, Autumn, Amanda, a couple other people. Sorry if I forgot your name. A lot of support. Obviously, Art History, you were the biggest help, dude. And we can't thank you enough for all your support, man. It's been great. But this was cool because the one thing that this got for us, we got to connect with other people, let them know what we're doing. And the eagerness to support and help was something I wasn't ready for, to be honest with you. I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah, a lot of people have reached out that want to help, that are down there. We spoke to people. There's going to be a lot of people down there doing outreach that day. I think you said you and your guys were going to come down that day.
Yeah. Do you know Anthony Sherman, the guy I had on the podcast, Ringside for Recovery? I think he changed his situation changed a little bit, but Anthony Sherman is going to come down and help us out that day. One of the biggest supporters, along with Frost, was my buddy Bobby. We went to Karen Treatment Center together. This guy had 20 years sober. He watched, his wife battle Lou Gehrig's disease, and he relapsed. We were in treatment at the same time. So I have 13 months. So he's probably got 13 and a half months. He owns a store up in upstate PA. It's called Skip's Dairy Bar and Grill. He's going to donate all the food for that day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Food to support at least 250 guests. He's going to come down with his van. So Skip's Dairy Bar and Grill, Coach Bobby, he was, very supportive. Funny story. He's very similar to you. I sent him a text. What's it going to cost for 250 sandwiches? He's like, nah, there's no cost, dude. I'm just coming down. You know what I mean? I just want to be a part of it. And, it just, the support was like overwhelming, dude. It really just makes you think like, man, like, cause I still think of it like I'm a piece of shit drug addict. So it's hard to, I know you already said, how do you get over that? That's a fucking process that I continually work on. But, the support, both personally as a whole, it's been fucking amazing.
My mother-in-law, Maria Fox, she was one of the first people to donate.
Yep.
And Christine Lastly, these people know what the miracle is.
Yeah.
They see it with me. They see it with Noreen. They see it with Noreen's brother. It's like these people know, and they believe it. And it's great to see other people believe in our goal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because everyone that we've talked to, there hasn't been one person like, nah. Every single person's. And that to me is like, you know what I mean? It's amazing.
Yeah. Like my sister's going to come down, Natalie Galati, my wife, Megan, she's going to come down. And, my daughter's off. She's going to come down. And, we're just going to try to have as many positive people down there at one shot. And, to see what Be the Miracle can turn into.
Yep.
It's Be the Miracle, Kensington and Somerset, right up front of the last stop. Sunday, December 15th. We're going to start at 11. And we'll just go as long as we need to. And then we'll see where this thing goes.
Yep.
So JP, I want to thank you, bro.
Yeah, welcome in. Thank you for including me.
Yeah, no, seriously, this has been great. And thanks for, taking time out of your day to come here. I don't know how long this is going to last. This is good.
Yeah. Very good, Jay.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Absolutely,
it, dude.
man.
That's it. Day Before Rehab podcast, Instagram, social, Spotify, YouTube. You can find us for more information and upcoming guests, and we'll see where this thing goes. Be the Miracle, December 15th, Kensington and Somerset. Thanks, guys.
I guess I want to end it this way.
Love you, bro.
Yeah.
We love you, Dad.
I love all of you.
We love you, daughter.
I love you too.
That was nice.
And I tell you what.